Welcome back to Gems Podcast. I'm your host, Genesis Amaris Kemp, and with me today is Anngelica-Marie Eshesimua. And here's a bit about Angelica's background. She is on a mission to change the way we approach self care. She believes that it should be a holistic, joyous, and balanced lifestyle, not just a one time fix. With hundreds of hours of research on personal development and fulfillment under her belt, she shares her teachings in a fun, accessible way through her podcast, The Tea Corner. Her insights have been featured in multiple publications, including Shondaland. As a self care success specialist, Angelica-Marie can help any burnt out woman create a joyous lifestyle through her transformative self care success framework and membership community, Om- Omekwa Oasis. And without further ado, please welcome Anngelica-Marie Eshesimua to Gems Podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, today we're going to unpack holistic wellness and how we're going to use that to avoid burnt out. But before we dive into that, Angelica, I want you to talk about what prompted you to going down this path.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, I was in a completely different industry. I was in the entertainment industry. It's a path that I wanted to go down pretty much my entire life, and I was really successful for it. I went to USC and a really small program. It's one of the best film schools in the world to study. I interned and worked at some of, the top studios and entertainment companies out in Los Angeles. I started my own production company. I was able to win an international film award and produce films with friends that I met at USC. So, from the outside looking in, I was wildly successful and on a good path, but I became more and more miserable and I was extremely burnt out. So towards the end of 2019, when I was working on a show, a Netflix show, I discovered that I had a benign breast tumor. I didn't know it was benign at the time. So it really made me think about how I was focusing on everything else in my life besides myself. I didn't even know that this abnormality was happening to me. But thankfully it was benign, but I turned to my mother, my Haitian mother, who always worked with and used herbs for her wellness. And she passed her teachings and advice about those herbs and remedies onto me. And it really inspired me to have a complete life shift in terms of really taking care of my body properly, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So that's why in early 2021, I launched Omekwa, which is my health and wellness brand. And I really focus on redefining self care through body, mind, and spiritual means, really supported by the power of herbs and all these natural remedies that are here on the earth for us to use, and just really teaching everyone that comes across us how to properly use it within a community. So that is where I am right now with Omekwa.
And that is amazing to see as well as hear the transition from entertainment, being on set, preparing stuff for Netflix and et cetera. Because some people from the outside looking in will be like, oh my gosh, that's so glamorous. And I was actually going to say, oh my gosh, that was super cool. What TV shows did you produce? But then you quickly realized that you were no longer fulfilled in that industry and you realized that it was taking a toll probably mentally, physically, and emotionally. So that transitioned you into another segue, which is now what you're doing with Omekwa. And can you tell us why you named it Omekwa and what does that mean?
Yeah, so Omekwa is my middle name, and it's Nigerian for nature's vessel and God's sent. So fun fact, my mother actually wanted to start Omekwa several years ago, and she always pushed me to do it. But I was like, no, mom, I'm going to Hollywood. I'm making TV, I'm making movies, all of that. But yeah, I launched Omekwa because, nature and what God has provided on earth for us to use is really, the core mission and support of my brand. And I really believe that, we've really become so disconnected, not only from nature but ourselves. So really Omekwa is just a community that really helps you rediscover and really get in tune with yourself through natural things, through the herbs and oils that have been here for centuries, that have grown with us, that are truly a part of us, and really learning how to properly use them in a community of people who are knowledgeable and also want to see you thrive and grow and just be and do better.
That is amazing. And that is so true because now people are so quick to push the pharmaceutical drugs when they fail to realize before pharmaceutical drugs became popular and really widespread, a lot of people were using holistic remedies. Like
Mm.
I am first generation American, my dad was South American, and my mom is Caribbean. So there's different things like turmeric,
Mm.
ginger, saffron. Um, Maca root, all different types of herbs that people use to cure themselves, as well as use them for facial products,
Mhm.
um, helping them heal internally. And while they're healing internally, you could start to see the change externally because your skin glows, you have more
Mhm.
energy, more endurance, and etc. And it just really promotes that vitality. But I almost asked that the question, do we take things for granted because we want everything with this microwave society? We want to put it in
Mm.
the microwave, hit 30 seconds, and then boom, it's done. No one wants to take time to slow cook things and put them in the pressure cooker or the crock pot because we're so busy on the go. So, have we become conditioned to not leaning on those holistic wellness that it's allowing us to fall by the wayside? And when I say fall, it puts us in that downward spiral of that burnt out. Have you been a witness of that? And do you want to add in some value there, Angelica?
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. I mean, even as I restarted my health and wellness journey, I think it's very easy for us to put the small things to the side or put those aches and pains to the side and just put a band-aid on it. But it really comes to a point where you just kind of hit kind of rock bottom or have that crisis point, like I had with my tumor. But just to put it into context, when I was 18 in college, I had insufferable cramps, like debilitating. I could not function for 2 days out of the month. And I went to the doctor on campus and they immediately prescribed me hormonal birth control to get rid of my pain, while not really going into the side effects. So there are still studies on, the effects of hormonal birth control and the production of fibroadenomas and tumors, which is what I developed. But it was just the fact that instead of knowing and learning how to use natural remedies and figuring out what I was doing or eating wrong or missing in my diet naturally to solve my cramps, I immediately took a pill and it really snowballed into this effect. So, in terms of us being in a microwave society, I think it's that way because we don't really have the systems and structures to really teach us how to take it step by step and really build a lifestyle that is conducive to holistic living. And we're just really conditioned and trained to get the next quick fix because focusing on your health in a long term, substantial way isn't really promoted. It's more what you can produce, what you can do, your work, right? So that's why at Omekwa, I don't want to just give you products and throw products at you, because that is just one part of the story. That's just your body. But, holistic living, holistic wellness and body, mind, and spirit is really dependent on having that community, right? That village, that support that will look at you as a whole person, that will keep you accountable in living well, and that will encourage you to live well.
So, with Omekwa and with you all being focused on holistic wellness, which is mind, body, and soul, what are some of the programs that you offer or some tips to help people with health and wellness, overall nutrition, fitness, body, outward body, and then inward? Because sometimes if you don't feel good inwardly, then you're not going to look good externally because you're just going through the emotions and going through the flow. And I think whenever I hear holistic, I think about everything as a whole. It's
Mhm.
completing that circle and that those synergies. And part of that is practicing mindfulness and being aware of your body, because so many times we are not in tune with our bodies um holistically. Like
Mhm.
we don't maintain what's going on in our mind and how that's affecting our body and how that's nourishing our souls. So I want you to talk on that and add value, because I think all of these will in turn combat that burnout.
100%. So last year, how I really came to the structure and program that frames the Oasis, and Omekwa, when I was really facing a lot of the trials and tribulations of building a business and really facing burnout, I fell into a 3 month long depression. So, because of this, because my mind and my spirit was in such a disadvantaged state, I obviously wasn't taking care of myself physically. And in pulling myself out of that, I really realized that to really build a foundation of a life that is balance, that is peaceful, purposeful, and prosperous, as I like to say, I founded the Self Care Success System. And that's really rooted on the pillars of body, mind, and spirit. So, what I teach is for our body pillar, really building those small daily healthy habits and slowly getting rid of the negative ones. Now, this is really important because just what we surround our body with and how we fuel our body is really the basis and container of how we operate through life. So it's really easy to get used to the negative habits, even scrolling on social media, using social media day in and day out, eating unhealthy foods just because we're used to it. You really have to build those habits and replace those things slowly, just because subconsciously it'll really train you to support and develop a mindset that is really representative of a person who wants the best for themselves. And I really teach people how to build those habits and help them really maintain those habits through the power of community. So that really goes into the spirit pillar of wellness, which is really founded on community and purpose. Now, what I really found through my research and my own, trying to develop my lifestyle of wellness is that oftentimes we don't stick to these healthy habits or a healthy lifestyle because we're not doing it intentionally. And what I realize is that you really need to be connected in and rooted into your purpose, your why you are contributing to the world. Are you contributing to the world? Because when you're really connected to that, that gives you the motivation and the dedication to treat yourself well, to take care of yourself and body, mind, and spirit. Because if you don't, you won't be able to properly fulfill your purpose. So when you really think of it that way, instead of, oh, I just want to eat healthy to lose weight, or, oh, I just want to look better to be accepted, those are very superficial things. But, the main purpose of the self care success system and really building upon those pillars of body, mind, and spirit is that you're really doing it with the intention of purpose, with the intention of building a foundation of someone who is able to fully express themselves, their passions, and their gifts on a proper scale. And then the final pillar, the mind pillar, this is my favorite pillar, and I think the most crucial pillar to focus on. And the core teaching of it is that you really have to rewrite your story. So oftentimes we tell ourselves negative stories about ourselves that really lead to that anxiety and burnout. And mostly they are stories that are rooted in fear. How I like to really contextualize this, and how you can possibly see, and all the listeners can possibly see how your burnout is rooted in fear, is that oftentimes when we operate, we're either operating from a place of fear, which is trying to impress other people, trying to please other people, trying to be accepted by other people. When we operate out of that state, your energy isn't really focused on expansion and what you can provide. It's really focused on, oh, I have to be perfect for my boss. Oh, I have to do the most for my family and support my family. It's all on my shoulders. So, see, when you have that negative mindset, it's really going to drain every single aspect of your life. But with that mind pillar and with the self care success system, I really help people learn to see what are the sources of those negative stories, of those fear based stories that you're telling yourself that lead to burnout. And how can we rewrite a better story for you? And that really includes not only your own story and your origin story, but the characters in your story, right? The people that are in your life. It is so critical to surround yourself with people and be in a community of people who are also focused on purpose, who are also living life intentionally, who will also pour into you and your gifts. So when you really take in all those pillars of body, mind, and spirit within the self-care success system, and again, we really are dedicated to helping people implement the system because, in a way it is complex. It is your entire life, but we really want you to transform your lifestyle. But when you really implement this system, it creates a foundation that makes you resilient to the challenges and the stressors in life that can cause burnout.
Absolutely. And I like how you took time to elaborate on each one of those core pillars for the ultimate success because mind, your mindset is so vital. And I always ask people whenever you think about certain thoughts, ask yourself, is this thought adding value? Is it making me better mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Is it adding to my personal development or my professional growth?
Mhm.
And then think about that because one book that I've read before is a book by Joyce Meyer called Battlefield of the Mind. And if you think about it, we're battling thoughts, whether it's good versus bad, good versus evil, happy versus sad, and etc. And if we don't pay attention to what we're entertaining, then we could easily get off course.
Mhm.
When you think about body, I like to tell my clients, whether they're my coaching clients or et cetera, is how are you treating your body? Are you treating your body like you're treating your vehicle? Because so many people spend so much money on their vehicles with details, car service, maintenance, and etc. But they don't take that time to nurture their body. And your body is your vessel and your body is your vehicle. If you're not putting in good foods and your body is not exercising, you're not going to have that optimal lifestyle or that longevity. And I tell people your health is equivalent to your wealth. You
Mhm.
can't appreciate the fruits of your labor if you aren't conditioning your mind and your body. What good is it to be laying up in a hospital room and you can't spend and enjoy your wealth? So, what type of seeds are you sowing, and are they going to allow you to reap the harvest?
Mhm.
And when you think about the spirit part, spirit that can be conditioned to mindfulness. Are you practicing mindfulness on a daily basis? Are you saying no to the distractions and no to the noise? Are you giving yourself some time, whether it's taking a nap, whether it's doing yoga, whether it's connecting with your spiritual being if you are religious, or connecting to the universe for those who are non-religious? What does that look like? And how are you being intentional about that? Are you being busy just to say that you're busy, but you're not being intentional on the time that you're spending? Because we all have 24 hours of the day, and how you choose to allocate your time is what matters. So don't be mad when you see somebody else achieving something. They knew what their priorities were. And then also with spirituality, how are you nourishing your spirit? What are you putting into your spirit? What are you allowing your eyes to focus on? What are you allowing your ears to focus on? What is your mouth releasing out into that atmosphere? Is
Mhm.
it edifying? Is it adding value, or is it taking away value? And then tying that back to community. The people that you're connected to, they say, show me who your five friends are and I'll show you where you're going to be 5 years from now, because your friends can be very influential. I don't always want to be the smartest person in my circle, because if so, I'm playing below my optimal level. I
Mhm.
want to hang out with people that are stretching me beyond my comfort zone, calling me out on my BS, and challenging me to go further. And we're doing it together by partnerships. So
Mhm.
those are some value adds that I wanted to add there. And then another thing too is sometimes just going on a vacation or putting self-care in your calendar would truly help you with all of these different components, because we need time to recharge and refuel in order to have that balance.
Mhm.
And as we begin to wind down, Angelica, because I know you have a lot of things going on with Omekwa Oasis, the Tea Corner podcast, plus other things that you are doing that you may not have mentioned. And I want you to think about 1 to 2 gems that you could leave the listeners as well as the viewers with. One could either be something that complements the core pillars here, which are to educate, inspire, and motivate. And one could be a lifestyle gem to really help them light fire to their bottom and bust a move.
Yeah, I'd say the first gem, in terms of education, is you need to become a student of life. Do not let life passively happen to you. When I really shifted back into becoming a learner and learning through books, books, I say this all the time, personal development books saved my life. The podcast that I listened to saved my life. And everyone listening to this, you know the value of it. But I really encourage you to take it a step further and really implement those teachings into your everyday life. It's so vital, so important. And then I say the second gem is live authentically. I really noticed that my authenticity came about when I let go of fear and I let go of how I thought I was being perceived by people. And when you really operate from a place of authenticity, other people around you who are also in that state will gravitate towards you. And it really makes, feeding to and tending to those pillars a lot easier, because what we're talking about is truly life at its core. It is not easy at all. And you cannot walk this path alone. So those are the two gems that I would share with you all.
Beautiful. Y'all grab hold of those gems. She dropped some nuggets there and wisdom, knowledge. And now, Angelica, I want you to share with the listeners as well as the viewers how they could connect with you via your website and where you hang out on social media.
Yes, so you can connect with me on my website at Angelica with two N's always.com. So on there, I have my blog. You can access the tea corner. And then my favorite thing, I have a self-care success book club. So I'm really sharing all the books that changed my life and within a community of people who, we gather every month, we talk about the books. I really apply the system and the framework to the books. So I make it really actionable for you to really take those teachings and put them in your life. Again, I love books so much. So I would be so excited to share them with you on there and connect with you on there. And then you can also find me on Instagram, also Angelica Always, ANNGELICAALWAYS.
Amazing. And your call to action, and we're going to package this up with a pretty bow.
Yes, I am offering a free Burnt Out to Bright course. It is a short 4-day course. You can watch it on demand. And I really go in depth into the 4 essential keys to conquering burnout. These are the keys that really saved my life and really reignited my passion towards my business and building Omekwa. So I'll be so excited to connect with y'all on there. You can go to my Instagram and you'll see the link right in the bio to join the course.
And all of Angelica's information will be in the show notes, so there is no excuse for you not to take action today to connect with her and learn some strategies so you won't hit that period of burnt out. Until we chat next time, peace, love, and lots of blessings. Remember, you are your greatest asset. You are here for a reason. The world needs you to be uniquely you. Walk in your authentic truth. Remain true to your core values and your morals, and stop seeking validations in people and things that were never meant to connect with you on a lifelong journey. Don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast. We are on 40 plus platforms, and connect with us on YouTube at Gems with Genesis Amaris Kemp for all things the video content. Ciao.
Bye.